When you reach the limits of your abilities, you leave the battlefield full of frustration, but somewhere in the distance a small ray of hope appears. Your fishy gets such a sexy upgrade that your jaw drops to the floor. Girl, you won the golden ticket to the sweetest dream you've ever dreamed of. Rafayel LEMURIAN Seagot is defense-based AoE DPS character who provides beautiful animations in his package and gives a ton of buffs, reduce skill cooldown, and can also control the crowd. This is the six-pack you need.
I feel I'm worth it.
I'm Louin Jean, but you can call me Ari, and this is my guide on how to tame this Poseidon without reading this damn long kit. Come with me to the training room and I will show you step by step how to fight along Rafayel LEMURIAN Seagot with 5-star MS Solar Peer cards. MC has the ability to perform a 4-hit combo attack by tapping basic attacks. Each basic attack can reduce Seagot mark cooldown. I recommend using these 2 basic attacks and 3 basic attacks for smoother rotation. We can also use empowered and normal charge attacks. You have to hold basic attack to perform such an action. You can recognize charge attack with Seagot mark by the visual effects and the symbol that is above HP bar on the left. This attack increases damage, reduces support skill cooldown, restores energy charge. MC always receives Seagot mark before entering the battlefield and 8 seconds after using it. This mark reappears again. If you have R2 or R3 MS Solar Peer cards, you'll receive extra 50% damage boost while you have this mark. It's worth mentioning that active skill will immediately refresh this mark. After performing charge attack with Seagot mark, your next charge attacks will look different because they're no longer marked. Now we will see what rotation number 1 will look like. Perform 1 charge attack, use active skill, and 1 charge attack again. Do 2 basic attacks and 1 charge attack, 3 basic attacks and 1 charge attack into 3 basic attacks. Each basic attack and charge attack that hits an enemy fills the yellow bar. You need to do, for example, 3 charge attacks and 2 basic attacks. When you use support skill twice, which can be normal, or empowered one, which increase damage, they fill the entire blue bar. When both parts of the bar are fully charged, you'll unlock Ocean's Descent. This is a new feature that displays an additional button on the screen. Now let's see what rotation number 2 looks like. We've already used Resonance skill and Ocean Descent. Right now your active skill will generate Lightning Crystal when it hits enemy. Then you have to dodge, which activates Lightning Tide that deals damage. After that, I recommend using 1 charge attack and 2 basic attacks. Repeat these steps until you can use next Resonance skill. This crystal activation restores energy charge, reduce active skill cooldown, and also extend the enemy's weakened state. When Divine Favor ends, all crystals will be activated immediately. You can get additional buffs in Divine Favor depending on the rank of MS Solar Pair cards you have. Let me remind you that each higher rank has the buffs of the previous lower ones. So, Rafayel with R1 MS in Divine Favor will create an additional vortex that pulls enemies towards its center, and lightning will randomly strike the battlefield. When you have R2 MS, you will additionally receive damage reduction, which reduces the amount of damage dealt by the enemy. However, R3 MS have all the above buffs, where the total damage reduction will be at 48%, and basic attack reduces the cooldown of active skill, and charge attack with Sigurd Mark will trigger an additional tide. We also get additional damage beyond Divine Favor and rotation improvements thanks to rank 1, which charges Ardent Oaths faster, and rank 2, which gives extra energy charge. We'll perform Resonance skill at the beginning of the fight and right after 2 energy charges is generated. This attack gathers enemies in range and reduces the weakened shield of enemies. So 1 Resonance skill removes 2 shield points in a full Stella match and only 1 shield points in Brute Force. Keep in mind that Resonance skill and Support skill are blocked by Ocean's Descent, so you must use these skills first. When Divine's Favor ends, your Support skill is fully charged. If you do the rotation correctly and activate Support skill quickly enough before your Resonance skill, the next Support skill will fill up right after you break the shield. It's worth taking the opportunity to activate it before Ocean's Descent, but don't wait for it to fill up. Only use your additional Support skill when it's ready, like I did here. Ardent Oaths has a gorgeous animation and we will use it when we receive Sigurd Mark and the end of Weakened State. The rotation for Rafayel LSG is different from his previous myths, especially when we want to use all buffs that are available in his kit. Let's combine all the information into one big rotation. Run into the arena and immediately click Resonance skill. Turn on Support skill and perform 1 charge attack which removes the mark. Then use active skill which immediately refresh the mark and again use 1 charge attack. Perform 2 basic attacks and 1 charge attack. And in that case I recommend using 3 basic attacks with 1 charge attack into 3 basic attacks. Look, Support skill is charged again. 2 energy charges have been generated and next Resonance skill can be used. Yellow and blue bars were filled and Ocean Descent has appeared on the screen. Click Resonance skill and immediately activate Ocean's Descent. At this point the battlefield is more dark blue and you are in Divine Favor. Click active skill and right after that dodge. Perform 1 charge attack and 2 basic attacks and repeat these moves until enemies refresh his shield. Start a new rotation from Resonance skill and use Support skill. Perform 1 charge attack, use active skill and 1 charge attack. Perform 2 basic attacks and 1 charge attack. Then 3 basic attacks with 1 charge attack into 3 basic attacks. Use Support skill and Resonance skill. Activate Ocean's Descent. Click Active Skill and dodge. Perform 1 charge attack and 2 basic attacks and repeat. When you do the third series of moves, stop after dodging. Weakened state is almost over. It's perfect time to use Ardent Oath because you gain Seagot Mark. The enemy refresh his shield and you start a new rotation with Resonance skill. It seems complicated, but check the list of these moves. You will notice that it's simpler than you think. Be sure to do these because they are the most important. If you're lost at this point, perform attacks that suits you, but always combine charge attack with basic attacks together. Here, you don't have to be very focused on the lightning crystal because usually your dodge will activate it, but try to learn these. If you're choosing Rafayel LEMURIAN Seagot Companion before the fight, you need to build your team around his power scaling. He is a dual scaler and his primary attribute is defense, but a secondary attribute is attack. This means that you will need to give him defense and enough attack in his overall build. So you will need around 3k to 4k defense and 6k to 7k attack to pass the higher orbits in a full Stella match. Since devs are updating the orbit levels, I recommend aiming for 4 to 5k defense and 7k to 8k attack. I recommend building Rafayel LSG with high damage boost to weakened at 100% and up, where you will need to place damage boost to weakened in main stats on delta cores. Also, try to find a balance between crit rate and crit damage, which will depend on the type of enemy and what you already have in your build. Then look for appropriate substats on protocors, where you should prioritize defense bonus, damage boost to weakened, flat defense. Apply more crit rate and crit damage in substats, mainly in matches where your enemy doesn't have a shield and you try to brute force the fight. If your protocors get rolls with attack bonus, flat attack, oath strength or courage talent after enhanced, keep them in your inventory. These are the highest rolls you can find in substats. But remember that you will usually get 1 to 2 attributes with higher values on one core. So you have to balance the values you already have in your build, like those dedicated by cards and enhancing protocors. Here are some examples of cores that I found and used to build a team for Rafayel LSG. As often as possible, create a team in a full Stella match that uses perfect match and all attribute bonuses. The situation will be similar in brute force fights. Therefore, try to place as many colors as possible that will give you additional 5% buff per card. I recommend building a team around 5-star lunar cards, where priority always goes to cards with a higher rank, then those with defense talent, and then attack talent, if they are all at the same level. Then choose 5-star cards with HP talent, and finally 4-star cards in the same order. I don't recommend leveling up 3-star cards due to the low basic stats. Now let's focus on choosing the right beta cores that will depend on the situation on the battlefield and the rank of solar pair cards you have. R2 and R3 MS will always be built with 2 defense bonus in main stats, because you need to guarantee such a companion the highest level of defense in his build. Rafayel LSG has no problems with power generation due to the perfectly matched kit. and the additional energy charge makes the rotation very smooth. If you manage to build enough defense, try to swipe one defense bonus for Oath Strength. It's much more difficult to build a companion with R0 and R1 MS, because you have to pay attention to the type of fight and whether we are doing the rotation correctly. You shouldn't feel a lack of energy during shorter fights, but you will notice a slight problem in 2-minute fights, which can be fixed very quickly by using 1 or 2 basic attacks. Here I ran out of energy, but I made a strike and my active skill was ready to use. The more the better if you have the opportunity to perform a perfect dodge. For players who have lower rank of MS, don't use Empower Support skill. Wait until it stops glowing and only then use it. This way you remove the long animation and unfortunately sacrifice a small amount of damage. But it may be necessary when you fight with low stats in a 2-minute fight. So for R0 MS, I recommend using Oath Recovery and Defense bonus. And for R1 MS, use 2 defense bonus on beta cores. But if you don't feel comfortable with the new type of rotation, try using 1 of Recovery and 1 Energy cores for R0 MS, and for R1 MS, use 1 Defense and 1 Energy cores. An interesting option is to use R2 or R3 solar pair cards of Abyss Walker or God of the Tides, where you will gain additional energy charge and different types of buffs from pair bonus at those ranks. You won't need an additional energy core in such teams. You just need to put 2 defense bonus and main stats on beta cores. Remember that using other solar pair cards makes it harder to build team in defense and damage boost weakened for Rafayel LSG. So try to build a team with mostly 5-star lunar cards with defense talent and look for high defense and damage boost to weakened rolls and substats to balance all stats with each other. If you have any more questions about Rafayel LEMURIAN Sea God, I encourage you to comment below this video. Thanks for your time and have fun with your fishy.